Okay, I'm just getting started on the diagonals. And with this, if you went over this one and then under, it gets caught up. You need this to slide smoothly. So if I would have went over, under, over, you'll see that it starts getting crooked. So if you ever start your diagonals and it just doesn't seem right, then you want to, instead of going over, go under, over, under. Once it happens to you, you'll know. But no one ever explained that to me, except for which direction I should go on my fourth course, which I'm on, because the first diagonal, the first vertical, first horizontal, second vertical, fourth horizontal was the weaving, and now diagonal. Yeah, so you'll know that it goes all over the place if you're going the wrong way. So see how that goes back and forth like that? So then you know you're good. Now we just make sure I just go past the hole, so I'm gonna be right around there. And now it's getting tighter, and it'll get tighter as I do the diagonals. I like the diagonals, it goes quick and it starts to look like something. There's different methods. You could do this, or you could get it going where you just kind of weave, but then it kind of gets tangled up. So I just kind of go like this. And then here, you want to start making what's called X's along the side. So you think you can go to that hole, which you probably could, but I like to have all my X's, so I'm going to go to that hole. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go to that other hole. Whatever looks right. So it looks a little better. It seems like I'm a little crooked. Sometimes I'll just take a piece of tape, get along there, see how crooked that is. Just take my needle and straighten out this line and just kind of push on the corners and work that over. We're going so far out. See, we got that all straightened out. And then here we're going to get the start of the X's down here. So once I come the other way, it's going to make all X's on the bottom. If I have to fight too much to get in the hole, I'll bring that needle out and put the needle in there and thread it up there. Sometimes before you get to the end, you're going to want to pull all this excess. Sometimes it gets too tight. This ain't too bad, especially with the bigger material. But if I was working with anything skinnier, you'd have to pull that through more, or if you try to do it, it just breaks the caning. I'll pull this all through, and then I'm going to have where these two meet up. It's only because this was getting tight here. I'll have something like that. I'm not going to go to there because I'm going to start my X now. This is going to start making an X on this side. You'll see once we get there, when we have the diagonals going the other way. I think the cat's mad at me. I took a little break. I had to stain a couple chairs, and the cat was laying under the chair here, and I had to use the spray bottle. The cat didn't like that. She gave me a dirty look. Hey, Velcro. She'll come back though. She don't stay mad long. See, then I could just keep doing this here. Just have that excess. And moves along a little quicker. Getting tight. You can see I don't really need these tees anymore because the other caning is binding everything together. When I first started out, I have a peg in every hole, and you really don't need that. It's just mostly where my ends go through, just so they're not lifting out, like something like, see, it's already binding up, so. You just learn that with experience. I didn't want to do this for a living, but I'm good at it. I can do it while I'm watching TV, watch YouTube and learn about other things. It is time consuming. I did 2 chairs yesterday. Normally one chair would take me like a couple, like 3-4 hours a night for a week. Everybody wants their chairs back before Thanksgiving. And right now it's November 10th. I had to really pound them out and get them done. Here, same thing. Since this has this angle here, it's a little different. If it was a square chair, I'd be having X's all the way through. But since this has this curve, I'm not going to have the X's. It's just how it lines up. So you don't need to be watching me doing every angle, but that's pretty much how you do it. I actually got to go take a little break. I'll use up this piece here. Velcro the cat just came to visit, but she left again. She's still mad at me. She'll forget about it when she wants to get scratched. Velcro. Like, I ain't no dog. Don't be calling me like no dog. That's the one thing. You gotta earn the respect of a cat. Cat is boss. Sometimes it's gonna be a toll on your hands, but my whole life I've done construction and worked with my hands. But you may want to wear just some work gloves, just real thin ones. This is other chairs, you have to do it if you're doing there's this material called rush, and it really beats you up because you're pulling on almost rope and you almost get rope burns. But this stuff I don't need gloves, but you may want to. Anyway, I'll keep doing this and I'll come back when I go the other direction. And then what we'll have to do is the border. I get about 4 hours into this, 3 or 4 hours, but taking quite a bit of breaks. Okay, I finished my diagonals going this way. And now I gotta go this way. I got one started here. And same thing. Just going under and over. And same thing, if you get where it's not running through smooth, then you're gonna wanna start different where you go instead of under, over, over, under. And And then once all these diagonals are done, then we're ready to do the border. And then we have to tie off the bottom, all these loose strands on the bottom. So we're getting there. A couple more hours. All right, we're moving right along on the diagonals going this way. We already did all these diagonals. And you can see where we have the X's. So where we have these lines, see how they're turned into X's right here? And that's what you want, X, X, X. Alrighty, so I moved right along here. And right here we have all our X's. You can see the X's. But then when we get in the corner, it's actually going to be a point. So, and then we're going to start our X's coming up this way. It gets a little tricky along the rail here. You just have to kind of finagle it around. Sometimes if you go too far, it's going to be too tight because it's really tightening up. Let's see how I got this twisted. You can just give it a little turn, kind of tug on it. It straightens out. You can see how it comes to a point now. And then when I come across, it's going to come right over and make the X here. We're getting there. I just have to, I'm at the halfway point, finish it up, and then we'll do the border. All right, well, I guess I gotta quit for the night. The cat says it's 11 o'clock, I need to go to bed. So we'll finish this up tomorrow. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Okay, I'm ready to do the binder cane, and that's the caning that goes around the perimeter of the seat. I usually like starting in the back and then working it around. But the binder cane is actually thicker than the caning that you used. And what I like to do is take a pick and I actually wet the holes in here, and then I go around and just compress the caning in the holes. It just helps to get this last caning through the holes. Basically, and I actually use a needle, just a long needle, to kind of fish it through. I already started this one. It's gonna go down the hole. It just makes it easier. You can try to fish it through the hole, but I just find it easier just to use the needle so I'm not fighting it. Back down the hole. And I soak the caning as well as the binder cane. You don't have to soak the binder cane that long because it's just a straight piece. But this is one piece. I get a peg in the corner and I peg this corner. So this is just a short piece. But around the rest of it, well, I'm actually going to peg these corners too. But sometimes you'll have a seat that's round and you just use one continuous binder cane, and you want to make sure it's real wet around the corners to get that curve. But this, I think I'm going to peg the corners as well. So I'll have short pieces on all four sides. Then I take my needle, because it might be loose on the bottom and you want these real tight. I'll just kind of cinch it up with the needle just to get a nice little, so it just tightens up, and then kind of work it with your fingernail just so it sits in there nice, so it's not all crooked like that or the other way. I'll just cinch that up. Same thing, you just want to make sure it's glossy side up.